Hi. Welcome back to Tap Tech. You've probably seen a lot of PS5 Pro videos by now. Some talk about the specs. Others break down numbers, graphs, or benchmarks. But today, we're doing something a little different that we're going to focus on. How it feels. That's right. Not just numbers, not just upgrades on paper. We want to know, does the PS5 Pro actually feel like a better console to play on? If you already have a regular PS5, will this be a meaningful upgrade for you? We'll explore that question in detail. That we'll test real games. We'll do side-by-sides. We'll check the difference at different viewing distances. We'll also test it on various screen sizes, from massive TVs to compact displays. Because not everyone plays the same way, this isn't a tech breakdown. It's a real-world check. Let's get into it. First up, Dragon's Dogma 2. We restarting off with Dragon's Dogma 2, a game that has optimization support for the PS5 Pro. To make this fair, we set up two identical 65-inch OLED TVs side by side. One console is the regular PS5, the other is the PS5 Pro. Now, at first glance, the color tones may look slightly different. But don't focus on that. What we care about is the detail, the smoothness, and the overall experience right away. We go into the settings. On the regular PS5, you get 4 display options. On the PS5 Pro, there's a fifth. It's called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. What does that mean? In simple terms, it's AI-based image enhancement. It makes everything sharper without hurting performance. Now, with both games running, we look closely at the character model. The lantern, the textures on the clothing, even the facial hair, all look more detailed on the PS5 Pro. The regular PS5 still shows all of this, but it's just softer. Less sharp. Look at the stitching on the character's outfit. On the Pro, it's clear and defined. On the regular PS5, it's slightly blurry. Let's look at the Griffin next. The textures on the wings, the skin, even the surrounding leaves on trees, everything pops more on the PS5 Pro. So, yeah, up close, it's easy to see the difference, but how does it feel from where people usually sit? Let's back up a bit and play from a normal distance. From here, the Pro still holds the lead. The texture is still visible. The motion is smoother. You might not spot every tiny difference, but you feel it when you're actually playing, especially when it comes to frame rate. The waterfall scene makes that obvious. On the PS5 Pro, the animation is much smoother. No jitter. No weird motion blur. It just flows. So from this real-world test, it's clear, PS5 Pro wins. Not just in specs, but in actual gameplay feel. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. Let's move on to Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, another game that's been enhanced for the PS5 Pro. And the moment Aloy's face appears on screen, you can tell her freckles are visible on the Pro. On the regular PS5, they're barely noticeable unless you get really close. Her skin has more texture and definition. On the regular PS5, it looks like there's a soft filter applied. It's smoother, but in a less natural way. Both consoles are using balanced mode. But the PS5 Pro gives you Balanced Pro, which is supposed to offer the best mix of frame rate and visuals. Looking at gameplay, the Pro version seems just a bit smoother. It's subtle, but it's there. To make sure, we check with a frame rate monitor. The Pro hits a steady 120 FPS, the regular PS5 is hovering around the 70s. Sometimes it drops to the 60s. So the difference isn't just a feeling, it's measurable. A gameplay feels more fluid on the Pro. That makes every move, every camera pan, every fight sequence feel better. Even if you're not a tech expert, you'll notice the smoother motion. And again, it's not that the regular PS5 is bad. It still plays well. But the Pro is just more refined. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, next level difference. Now let's load up Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This one might be the biggest showcase yet. We run it in versatility mode, which basically enables full 4K on the PS5 Pro, and the difference night and day. You can see it instantly. Cloud Sword? More detailed, the lighting? More balanced, the shadows? More realistic. Even people who aren't usually into graphics will notice this one. And for the first time, you can actually see the difference on camera. That's rare. Usually, you only feel the improvements while playing. But here, it's obvious. Even in screenshots, frame rate is locked at 30 because of the 4K mode. But it looks and feels solid. Final Fantasy is known for amazing graphics. On the Pro, it finally delivers the full package. If every game felt this different, upgrading would be a no-brainer. What about non-optimized games? Now, not every game is optimized for the PS5 Pro. So we tested Final Fantasy 16, which hasn't received a Pro update. First impression. The difference is small. Both versions look similar at first. Frame rate feels okay. Nothing stands out, but then we switch to performance-focused mode, and here we go, the Pro version starts to shine again. It just feels smoother. More stable. Movements flow better. Camera control is easier. The regular PS5, on the other hand, still has a bit of choppiness, and that's something I've experienced before. Even in performance mode, Final Fantasy 16 would stutter on the standard PS5. It never felt fully stable, but on the Pro? That issue seems to be gone. So yes, even non-optimized games run better on the PS5 Pro. The extra power isn't wasted. It gives you better performance across the board. What if you don't have a big TV? Now let's talk about screen sizes, because let's be honest, not everyone plays on a huge OLED. So does the Pro still feel like a big upgrade if you're gaming on something smaller? Let's find out. Starting big, 98-inch TV first. We tested on a 98-inch TV. That's huge, and surprisingly, the PS5 Pro held up well. No noticeable drop in quality. The details stayed sharp. Even stretched across such a massive screen, the game looked clean. This shows how much rendering power the Pro really has. Then down to 77 inches next, we dropped to a 77-inch display. This size is becoming more common lately, and the results? Still impressive. You can clearly see the difference in textures, the detail on characters, the environment. Even small objects like weapons and clothing textures, and gameplay felt super smooth. You get a crisp image with fluid performance. 65 inches, the sweet spot. Now let's go to 65 inches. Probably the most common screen size these days. Here too, the PS5 Pro shows improvement over the regular PS5. Everything looks sharp. Motion is fluid. And the gameplay just feels better overall. Now down to 55 inches. Here's where things start to change. At 55 inches, the PS5 Pro still looks good. But now, the extra detail becomes harder to see, especially from a normal distance. Gameplay remains smooth. The frame rate improvements are still there, but unless you're sitting close, the visual upgrade is less noticeable. Finally, 43 inches. We tested on a 43-inch TV too, and here, the advantage of the PS5 Pro gets even smaller. Yes, the game runs fine. Yes, you still get smoother performance, but all the finer details? The stitching, the facial textures, the subtle lighting? You can't really see them from normal gaming distance, unless you're sitting at a desk setup, close to the screen. It's just not that impactful. Final thoughts. Is the PS5 Pro worth it? So, after all of that, what's the final verdict? Here's the truth, the PS5 Pro is legit. If you're playing on a large screen, 65 inches or bigger, you're going to notice a real difference. The graphics are sharper. The frame rates are smoother. Even unoptimized games run better. If you play modern titles like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you'll see huge jumps in visual quality, but if you're gaming on a smaller screen, like 43 or 55 inches, the improvements are harder to see. Especially if you're sitting far away, you might still feel smoother gameplay, but the full visual upgrade is harder to appreciate. So, is it worth upgrading? It depends. If you're serious about gaming, use a big screen, and want the best experience, the PS5 Pro is 100% worth it. If you're a casual gamer on a smaller screen, the regular PS5 still holds up very well. The PS5 Pro isn't for everyone, but if it's for you, you're going to love it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to TapTay for more honest, real-world tech reviews, and make sure to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you next time.